What is going on, party peeps? Welcome to episode 2 of the Human Optimization Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Ferber, and I am so excited to be in here. We've got the backstory done, episode 1 done. Now is really going to be talking about optimizing. I've got a really cool topic for us to talk about today. I'm really excited to dig in. Before I do that, shout out to my awesome new water bottle as our microphone. Super excited to have a little bit more functioning, and you guys missed it. The tree fell earlier, but we've got a little background. It's better than the room or wherever we were last time. So super excited to host you guys here and jump into it for today. So I was talking to a client yesterday who is a bad ass. She is awesome. She actually came into the program, hadn't been injured. She had a boot on her leg, and we actually had to take a pause so that she could figure things out with her doctor and get back to 100% mobility. And then when she came back in, she hit the ground running. And we had a conversation around body recomposition, on how she was feeling, on her mobility, all of these different things. And what stuck out to me was how hard it is mentally to process short-term wins, right? Because we see each other, we see ourselves every single day. It becomes very, very, very difficult to look in the mirror and see changes. Not only that, but mentally is the biggest shift, right? It's very hard to see these mental shifts that we're making. To give you an example for her specifically, right? She came in, her main goal was to build back up strength, was to build back up muscle, lose some body fat, right? We've been working together for about 2 months now, and she's lost about 6 pounds, which isn't massive, right? It's not huge, but her body composition, like, absolutely insane. She had the bat wings before. She looked kind of a little bit more exhausted. She didn't have much energy. She wasn't super defined. Now, even though we've only lost 6 pounds, she is way more defined. You can see biceps, striations in her shoulders. You can see her abdominals coming in pretty visibly. It's absolutely wild to see what a couple months can do. And yet she still had this negative self-talk around the scale, right? And this is a common theme that, we need these data points to understand what's actually working and what's not. But if we fixate on the data points, if we fixate on the scale, if we fixate on, man, I'm not seeing the changes on my weigh-ins, right? Like, that is going to define the anxiety that we put ourselves through. Now, it's the same. It's no different than if you have a test in 6 months, right? And if you are studying and cramming and studying and cramming and studying and cramming, and you put yourself into this almost like fight or flight mode around the task at hand, right? And it becomes this huge stressor. Now, I know a test is a hard thing to get excited for, right? But changes in your body and your mental state are exciting, right? They're an exciting thing to come back to. So again, if we stopped and set obviously short-term goals, right, and short-term changes, but then also looked at things at a long-term perspective, we tend to be a lot happier. And it's less of a, oh my God, I'm so stressed, I've got to make progress. And it's more of a, I get to work on me on a daily basis, on whatever tasks and habits that I need to do. For example, for me, I have lived in fight or flight for so long. Starting from when I was a little child and, waiting for my dad got sick, waiting for calls from the hospital, to my mom getting sick and me being the primary caretaker. I was always like looking at my phone, waiting for it to ring, right? Waiting to get that next call about, Zach, you need to jump into action and do X, Y, and Z. And I perpetuated this by going into the medical field and I was on call, right? I would get calls at 2 a.m. for freaking, that blows me. I still get calls, actually. It's really funny, but it's, 2 a.m. They've got a wrist fracture. They need a couple screws. I need to go out there and help them, right? And then I need to remember, okay, where's the hospital? Where's the implants? What doctor am I working with? What are the procedures at the hospital, right? It becomes this huge, massive fight or flight response, right? And it's hard in those scenarios, right, to step back and say, wow, I am so grateful. I'm so lucky to be able to go and help people in surgery, to have this test in 6 months, or to be down 6 pounds and looking like a completely different human being, right? We are always going to want more. It's just nature, human nature to want more. And guess what? Even if you get, let's say by a miracle, she was down 30 pounds, right? She doesn't have 30 pounds to lose. But let's say by a miracle, she was down 30 pounds. She looked lean. She looked great. She had more energy than she ever has. Her hormones were all optimized. She would have a next goal, right? She was the next thing that we're shooting for, right? And so it's never just a linear, if I do A and I get B, I will be happy, right? Because once you hit B, you're like, shit, I want C. I want the next thing, right? And I'm going to shout out someone right now. I'm really excited to kind of talk to her a little bit, but talk about her a little bit. But my girlfriend, Julia, she is, last week was her final exam in medical school. And she has been cramming and cramming and cramming and pulling her hair out and stressed beyond belief for this exam, right? And of course, because she's the smartest person I know, she crushed it, blew it out of the water, as she does with every exam and every test and anything she does. She just absolutely destroys. She had been stressing and in that fight or flight for so long, right? And guess what? She finished the test. She destroyed it. She took 3 days off, and now she's studying for her exam to get into residency. So it's never linear. And let me back up a minute too, because I think the background of this is really interesting. I mean, as I talked about last time, I'm in South America, right? I'm in Buenos Aires in Argentina, right? And their medical school system is a little bit different. It's, you don't go to college, you go right out of high school, you spend 7 years in the medical system, and then you apply for residency, apply for your specialty, and eventually working. So it ends up being, 10 to 12 years, depending on your specialties, before you're actually working. So similar to the US. Here's the caveat. She's Brazilian. Now, if you're the typical American like me, and you are a little slow with world geography, that is next to Argentina, south, right? It's South America next to Argentina. But the bigger thing there is they speak Portuguese, right? They speak Portuguese, which, if you're not like 70% of my friends, that's not a dialect of Spanish. That is a different language. Crazy. They speak Portuguese. She, at 18 years old, left her friends, her family, not to come to Buenos Aires, not to come to a major hub in Argentina, but to go to a city called La Rioja, which is in the middle of the mountains, middle of nowhere, very small population. It's beautiful, but there's nothing to do. Not only did she go to La Rioja, she didn't speak Spanish. Wild. Like, she left her school speaking Portuguese and moved to another country that spoke a different language to take medical school in that language. We have had so many talks. She downplays it, but that's so incredible, right? And we've had so many talks about how she handled these things. And it's very interesting to watch the psychology of a human, right? She was like, yeah, Spanish was I learned that in 6 months. So there was no big deal. And then I was up and running and into school, right? Here's the thing. That's no big deal. But studying for a test where she knows the material inherently, but she's going to be testing on it, it's something that she's working towards, and something that she's put on a pedestal becomes so much scarier than what would freak me out, which is like, I'm going to go to medical school in a different language. I have to learn this different dialect, I don't know if you guys know medical terminology, but it is tough in English. It's tough. I mean, it's tougher in Portuguese, and it's tough in Spanish, right? That's a whole different ballgame. So not only did she have to learn it, but she had to learn the medical, right? And so all of a sudden, it becomes, for me, if I was doing this, right, it would be, oh my God, I'm so stressed to get the Spanish down, right? I need to get the Spanish down tomorrow. And then it's like, well, shoot, if I cut corners to learn the Spanish, what about the next 10 years? How am I going to be prepared if I've cut corners, right? And so many people struggle with that initial foundation phase because they want to see an initial win. And their initial win in their head is this big, far out goal, which is great, right? But level setting, wouldn't it be more helpful to allow yourself to win? What would it look like for this to come easy for you? What would it feel like for this to be easy, for you to deserve it, right? I deserve to be 20 pounds down, and I'm going to take daily freaking actions to get there. And I'm going to know that the beginning is going to be tough. But once I have that foundation down, the dominoes are going to start to knock over. And I don't care if it takes me 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years. I'm going to continue to put in the effort that I can so I don't spiral into that loop that everybody gets stuck in, which is like go, stop, go, stop, go, stop, right? And that loop is created from needing what we need now. We have become such a society where you can pick up your phones, you can order food delivered to your house, you can order Amazon Prime delivered in 1 day for most of the US. Out here, there's no Amazon. There's no delivery services. There's food delivery, don't get me wrong, and I do partake. But there's no delivery services. I remember when I first moved here, and I was talking to my friend who lived out here. I was like, dude, where do I get a hamper? Like a clothing hamper. I can't get one delivered from Amazon. There's no Targets. There's no Costco's. Where do I get a hamper? And I'll never forget. He turned to me and goes, I don't know. I just use a grocery bag. Right? And so we have become so accustomed to everything at our fingertips. And we do. I mean, even me out here where I can't order delivery, I can't go do all the things that the luxuries of the US give you. I still am so lucky that I can step downstairs from my apartment. There are a copious amount of food places. There are little kiosks with fresh fruits and vegetables from this country, from, a little bit further outside of the city that are fresh. We have access to more than anybody has ever had in their lifetime. Look at AI, right? You have the opportunity. I was talking to a client yesterday, a different client, and she's really struggling with the traveling portion. And I built out a custom chat GPT that literally you can ask it anything. You can take a picture of a menu and it'll tell you exactly what to eat based off how many calories you have left, based off the data that's already plugged into the app that we utilize. We have so many tools, so much information, so much knowledge, so much at our fingertips, and yet we still beat ourselves up because we're not 10 steps ahead. Guess what? Spoiler alert, you are a human. I am a human. Something I relearned over and over and over again. If we cut, we bleed. If we fall, we break. We are not magic. You cannot expect from yourself what you would not expect from another human being. There's a couple sayings that I love that feel pertinent here. One is, you do the hard now so you can do the easy later. Or you can do the easy now, but the hard's going to come, right? Meaning you can set that foundation. You can do the hard work to build a process for yourself. You can give yourself the tools and start to slowly work on that. And you can build the hard now for the easy later. Or you can cut corners now. You cannot learn Spanish. You can hard diet or even fast, lose the weight. But guess what? 3 months, 6 months, a year goes by. That's not going to stay. That's not going to hold, right? It's amazing how intermittent fasting, right? Like these terms, right? I enjoy some like designed fasting for cell autophagy, for mental clarity, for in the mornings. I love it so I can get deep work done. But we've taken intermittent fasting and we've stretched it to the point where it's like, okay, now we're just not eating. Now we're malnourished. Now we're eating 600, maybe 1,000 calories a day, and that's not it, right? And so the hard stuff is what's actually move you forward. Usually the hardest things are going to push you forward faster than the easiest things, right? And so I want to challenge you to do the hard things first on your daily basis now, to think about what are the hard things? What can I do to take care of me today that's hard to start to slowly make it easier, right? I'm a freaking nerd. I am a nerd. I love learning. And I'm the laziest fit person you'd ever meet. Like Julia can tell you, I made chicken for us last night and I was like cooking the chicken and she was like, do you want to put some onions and garlic in there with it? And I was like, no, just the chicken breast. I'll cut it up. I'll stick it on the oven and it'll be good to go. And she's like, there's no flavor. And I'm like, yeah, but it takes 10 minutes, right? It's easy, right? Setting the foundation is not easy. Setting intentional roots in what you want to do is not easy. But the more you progress on the roots, the more you start on the foundation, the more you pour into that foundation, the easier it is going to be to build up and up and up and up and up and see those changes, right? And all of a sudden, a year from now, you're looking back, you're like, holy cow, I'm a completely different human being. I've seen it time and time again. I've got one guy that I work with who is one of my favorite human beings. I'm just going to shout out to Greg, one of my favorite human beings. He is one of the most dedicated, hardworking people, and yet he beats himself up over and over and over again. The amount that he has changed in the last year, mentally alone, is incredible. He is going through something that most people will never, ever, ever have to go through in their life. And he is doing it with ease. Yep, I got my workouts in. I'm doing my nutrition. I'm taking care of myself. That comes number one. I'm handling all the other shit after, right? It becomes a practice of positive self-talk, of creating these processes for yourself so that you don't fall off. It's easier for you to follow through. And going back to, there was a point to my nerdiness, I promise you. Going back to my nerdiness, I literally created a Google spreadsheet with daily tasks. And because I'm an overachiever, I put, 300 the first month, then I cut it down, I have 9 daily tasks. 9 daily tasks that are mandatory. And I'm actually just going to pull it up and tell you what they are. So my daily tasks, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 daily tasks. I'm going to tell you what my daily tasks are to keep myself accountable, but also to show you, like, imagine you did this for a full year. Imagine I did every single one of these every single day for a full year. What a different human being I would be. First daily task is either to get a lift or a run-in, some sort of workout. Second daily task is 6,000 to 10,000 steps, somewhere around there. And I'll tell you, 10,000 is not a magic number. That's just an arbitrary number, right? But I looked at what my trends were. Looked at what's pushing myself. I looked at heavy call days, heavy Zoom days, and I go off a weekly average. I have my Aura ring. I have the data to be able to look at this on a weekly basis and make those projections, right? So 6,000 to 10,000 steps. Hit my protein target and eat intentionally, right? And that doesn't mean that I am looking at my calories all the time. Yeah, I mean, yes, that is eating intentionally, right? But hitting my protein target is the top thing for me. Calories are in there for sure, but eating intentionally, what does that mean? That means thinking about my food, stopping and breathing before I just chew. I used to overeat. I had 6-8 months where I was eating, 4,000 to 6,000 calories a day to bulk up for my shows. And your stomach stretches. You get used to eating and eating and eating. And I have an addiction to good food. Thank you, Julia, for really enabling me there. But the empanadas out here are insane, right? I used to, on my manic days and my depressive days, I used to order a box of 15 and just polish them off, right? But the reality is, if I'm eating intentionally, I'll have 1, 2, 3, if they're the little ones, and say, I'm full. Those are really good. That was a good treat. And I don't need more. I can have more if I want them, right? I've built a lifestyle to where I can eat excess calories and be okay, but I'm okay. I'm good, right? So hit protein targets and eat intentionally. That's number 3. Number 4, 10 to 15 minutes of mobility or stretching. Notice that's not a workout. That's mobility or stretching. I need my body to move because I am sitting a lot. I have had hip issues. I used to drive. When I was traveling for work through the hospitals, I put like 60, 70,000 miles on my car in a year. It's crazy, right? And that was a manual car, stick shift. So my hip has some impingement issues, right? I need that mobility to make me. That is section number 1, which is movement and food. Section number 2 is mental. Journal, and I specifically wrote gratitude in there. I want to do gratefulness every single day and journal every single day. 10 minutes of meditation. This is one that I struggle with. that I would like to bump up. But the 10 minutes a day right now, I'm able to hit that easily, and I will bump that up when I know I can hit it, when I know I can win at that second one. Call or text a loved one. This is really important to me. Being separated from the world, I mean, even if I've lived in the US, right, it's very easy for us to feel disconnected. And loneliness has been my deepest form of depression. And so this allows me to reach out and connect. And I've decided that I no longer hold expectations of others to reach out to me. I need to be the one to facilitate, right? And so calling or texting a loved one. And then the last one here, it's 15 to 20 minutes of like a skill, practicing a skill. Right now it's Spanish, right? I'm practicing my Spanish. I'm proficient enough to have conversations, but languages are tough, man. I'm still learning Portuguese too. It's coming, but it's coming slowly, right? And so those are my 4 in my mental bucket. So I've got my physical bucket, my mental bucket, and then 2 of them. Notice how I've only designated 2 of them. If you know me, I'm a workaholic. I've only designated 2 of them to working, which is record non I lost the word, but it's 100%. I have to do it on a daily basis. Is creating 3 videos for Instagram, 3 short form videos. I want my business to move forward. I want to show people who I am. The biggest issue with what I do is visibility, right? There's so many people. So I know this is something that if I do 3 videos a day for the next year, you tell me my Instagram's not going to grow. You tell me people aren't going to hear about me. You tell me I'm not going to be working with better human beings who really want to align with what I'm doing. I doubt that, right? And then last but not least is plan for tomorrow. Again, going back to that cycle of like, take action, step back, take action, fatigue, take action, fatigue. I used to just roll into my day, go from call to call to call to call, and just attack. And then I would need to hibernate and rest, on a Saturday and not look at anyone, not talk to anyone. I don't like that. I don't like that cycle. I like the resting piece we need, but I want to be designated with my time. I want to know that if I'm spending like tomorrow, if I know exactly what my day looks like, I can plan ahead. That's it. That's all 10 of them. And if I do that every single day for the next year, I know I'm going to be a better human. I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to be a better partner to Julia. I'm going to be a better human being. I'm going to be a better coach to my clients. I'm going to be better at this, talking and podcasting and whatever other fun things that I want to do, because this is what life's about. It's about slipping and falling and messing up and building a process that's going to work for me. And this is the process that's working for me. This is the process that I can lean into and enjoy. So with that being said, I'm going to challenge you today. I know we went through a lot. I had a little bit of caffeine before this. I'm going to challenge you. I want you to write down your 10 non-negotiables. Your 10 of what will you do every single day. Make it low-hanging fruit. Make it like, if it's something you already do, that's fine. Like you can take a shower. I hope you shower daily. You can put whatever it is that you feel is pertinent, but I want you to write a list of 10 and I want you to start checking it off, whether it's a paper, whether it's you reach out to me and I can send you my habit tracker. It's pretty nifty. You want it for sure. Reach out. Whatever it is, put the 10 on there and start checking them off. Even if you get 8, even if you get 6, who cares? You are making progress day over day. And when you can see that and look back retroactively, you feel good. I remember with my business, right? I was growing and growing and growing, but I never felt like it was enough, right? I was in that like fight or flight. I need more people. I need more contacts. I need more. And the same hamper friend, the same guy who told me to throw my clothes in a grocery bag, looks at me and says, "Hey, have you done like a review of the last year, the last 6 months, the last 3 months? Have you reviewed like your data and looked at where you've gone and where you're going?" And yes, I keep data. And yes, I look at these things. And I told you I'm a nerd. I'm a little type A. So I have all these things written out. But I was like, you know what? I don't know what the growth was year over year, right? How much impact I had year over year. Because that's what it's about. It's not about the monetary growth. It's about the impact for me of what I want to do. And I'm looking at the numbers here from 2002 to 2003, 60% growth. From 2003 to 2004, I had 38% growth. From 2004 to 2005, we had 56% growth. Now you're telling me 2026, if I don't continue the same actions that I was doing before or more, right? Because at a certain point, some of those get easier. You're not telling me I'm not going to have at least a 20% growth? As the numbers get bigger, the amount of people we work with, all that kind of stuff, it becomes a little bit harder to do 50, 60, 70%. But what if you grew 10% in the next 3 months? What would that look like for you? What would that feel like for you? And to be able to acknowledge that and give yourself the credit, I'm proud of you. You're here because you're doing the work. I'm here to help, to facilitate whatever I can do. But I'm just like you, I'm doing the work and I'm excited because I get to do this work. Right. So I feel like this has been enough of me chatting at a camera for, for however long it's been. If I can tell you anything, it's from today. I love you. You should love you, right? You should love you more than anybody else. And you need to see how great you are. Because if you don't, how are other people's gonna acknowledge it as much as you do? Right? Let's get you out of that fight or flight. Let's get you into your body, into a place where you feel sound, secure, safe, and into the person that you want to be and grow into. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I'm excited for next week. Bring out another episode of me talking to a camera. Maybe even have a different setup for my microphone. We'll see. We'll talk soon.